You're here, so let's dive straight into some of the big stories making waves globally.
Sounds good.
We've pulled together the essential details from various reports just to give you a clear picture of what's happening and, well, what might be significant.
Think of it as your rapid intelligence briefing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're cutting through the noise to focus on the core developments across different regions.
Okay, let's start in Japan. You might have seen reports, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake that shook Kyushu. That's one of Japan's main islands. It happened Wednesday evening.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, around 7:34 p.m. India time, and it struck at a depth of 30 kilometers. Understandably, there were immediate reactions, panic, people leaving their homes.
And what's reassuring in these initial reports, though, is that despite this strong tremor, there's been no significant damage reported so far.
Oh, yes.
Which, given how earthquake-prone the region is, that's a positive early sign.
Absolutely. Now, shifting our focus a bit from natural events to a political response, maybe, we're seeing a temporary ceasefire declared in Myanmar.
Oh, right.
The military junta, the ruling power there, announced it will last from April 2nd to April 22nd.
Okay. And the stated reason for the ceasefire is to facilitate relief and rehabilitation efforts. This is following that devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake we saw recently.
Right, the one with the tragically high death toll?
Oh, yeah.
Over 2,700 reported.
Exactly, exceeding 2,700. And what's, fascinating here is the contrast with earlier reports suggesting the military was still very much, on a war footing.
It does raise a question about the true motivations, doesn't it? Like, is this solely for humanitarian aid, or could there be other strategic considerations at play, given the ongoing internal conflicts?
That's precisely the crucial point to consider, yeah. While the ceasefire offers a window for aid, its long-term impact and the underlying political dynamics remain to be seen.
Okay. Moving on to Turkey. There's a developing story involving Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu.
Ah, yes.
Turkish prosecutors have launched an investigation into calls for an economic boycott that circulated mostly on social and traditional media after his arrest.
Right. These calls allegedly aimed to restrict a segment of the public from economic activity. And the investigation is centered on potential violations of laws against hate speech and, inciting public hostility.
So it's pretty serious.
It is. If we consider the broader context of political tensions in Turkey, this probe really highlights how closely the government is monitoring and potentially reacting to public discourse around political events and their economic implications.
Okay, let's head across the globe now. U.S.-Mexico border. Here, we're seeing a really dramatic shift in the number of illegal migrant crossings.
Indeed. The figures for March show approximately 7,180 crossings. What's remarkable is that, according to U.S. government data, this is the lowest level ever recorded.
Ever? Wow.
Yeah. To put that into perspective, it's a reported 95% decrease compared to March 2024.
95%. That's massive.
It is. And a 96% drop from March 2023.
Those are just staggering numbers. The reports briefly point to the Trump administration's policies increased military deployment at the border and, the implementation of that sweeping asylum ban as likely contributing factors.
Right. That seems to be the connection being made.
This significant decrease signals a potential, paradigm shift in border management, though its sustainability and the humanitarian impact remain critical questions for the coming months.
It certainly prompts a deeper look into the effectiveness and, the wider consequences of such stringent border policies.
Definitely. Okay, finally, a somewhat unusual story. The U.S. government is reportedly taking steps to estimate the cost of maintaining Greenland as a U.S. territory.
Ah, yes, that one. What's intriguing here is the stated aim: to assess the financial implications of providing services for Greenland's 58,000 residents, as well as evaluating potential revenue from its natural resources.
That is not straightforward, right?
Not at all. The reports also emphasize the inherent difficulties in making accurate forecasts due to the challenging climate and, the limited accessibility across the territory.
Yeah.
It really makes you appreciate the sheer scale and challenges of governing such a remote territory, should that ever, come to pass.
So, wow. From earthquakes and ceasefires to economic probes and these border shifts and even the potential cost of a territory.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
It really underscores how many significant events are unfolding simultaneously across the world. What strikes you as maybe the common thread, if any, in all of this?
That's a good question. Perhaps it's the constant interplay between Natural events, political decisions, and their subsequent social and economic ramifications, often in unexpected ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Each of these stories, in its own context, highlights the complex and, well, interconnected nature of our global landscape, or sometimes the disconnectedness.
It definitely leaves you pondering the ripple effects of each of these events, doesn't it? And how they might contribute to the larger narrative shaping our world. Thanks for taking that deep dive with us.